Good afternoon, friends. Myself, Dr. Vishweshwaran, Consultant Interventional Pulmonology and Sleep Specialist at Yashoda Hospital, Malakpet, Hyderabad. So, smoking is one of the most harmful habits which is highly prevalent in our population. Smoking is always a risk factor for any underlying lung conditions, and especially in the setting of a COVID-19 infection, it is a serious risk factor. Because whenever you smoke, you take the cigarette to your mouth. So during that time, you may accidentally cause infection with COVID-19 because of your contaminated hands. The another problem with smoking is, or persons who have smoked, is their lung volumes, which we call as the capacity of the lung, is also very less. So when these patients get infected with COVID and subsequently develop pneumonia, they are at a higher risk of landing up in respiratory failure and requiring advanced modes of mechanical ventilation. And apart from that, the other forms of smoking like hookah, where a single mouthpiece is used by multiple people, there is a very high risk of cross-contamination from one person to another person, thereby exposing the other person at a greater risk of developing COVID-19 infection. So any form of smoking or any amount of smoking is very injurious to health, especially in a pandemic situation like COVID-19 infection. So there are various risk factors for developing coronavirus related illness apart from smoking. The first and the foremost risk factor is the age of the patient. So it has been found that any people who are more than 60 to 65 years of age are at a higher risk of developing infection with COVID-19 and landing up in pneumonia and subsequently respiratory failure. So this is one of the serious risk factors. Apart from that, any person who has got multiple comorbidities like diabetes mellitus, or patient having hypertension, patient having heart-related problems, patient whose immunity is suppressed because of drugs, like patient who are on post-renal transplant or post-liver transplant, patient on hemodialysis, or patient who are pregnant, and especially children. These are the susceptible population who are at a high risk of contracting COVID-19 infection. So it is very important that if we have such members in the family, it is of very high importance that we follow stringent measures to prevent them from getting infected. So COVID-19 is primarily a respiratory pathogen in the sense like it mainly spreads by means of either droplet or by means of airborne transmission or by means of physical contact. So droplet in the sense when a person coughs, there is a lot of secretions which is coughed out along with the process of cough. So it goes and gets inoculated into the nose or into the oral cavity or into the mucous surfaces of the person who is coming in contact with these secretions. So this is the primary route of spread of coronavirus. So once it gets inoculated into these parts, either into the nose or into the eyes or into the mouth of the unaffected person, it then enters into the respiratory tract and subsequently causes pneumonia. The other mode of transmission of coronavirus is physical contact. So whenever our hands are contaminated with this virus, we may accidentally inoculate it into our nose or into our eyes, and from there it enters into the respiratory system and causes pneumonia. One other mode of transmission of this virus, especially in a hospital setting, is called as the droplet nuclei infection or by means of an airborne spread, where very small particles which are less than 5 micron meter in diameter enter directly into the lung airways and causes pneumonia. So the first target of infection of this coronavirus is primarily the lungs, and that is why it is referred to as a respiratory pathogen. So it is very difficult to differentiate between the COVID-19 infection from a patient who is having an associated asthma or an allergic rhinitis, because many of these symptoms like cough or breathlessness can be a part of either asthma or it can also be a part of a COVID-19 infection. But one feature which can effectively differentiate between these two is the presence of fever. So any asthmatic patient or an allergic rhinitis patient, when they develop fever and associated with that they develop increase in their breathlessness or cough or sneezing, then we should highly suspect coronavirus infection. And apart from that, any asthmatic patient who develops these symptoms following a history of travel or coming in contact with a patient who has got a coronavirus infection, then we should have a very high suspicion of coronavirus and we should immediately report to the doctor. So most of the coronavirus infections are generally mild illness. So they present to you with fever, running nose and cough, and they may settle down on its own. So majority of the patients with coronavirus do not go to the serious stage where they start developing the pneumonia requiring oxygen or ventilatory assistance. So only when the coronavirus infection is severe and it manifests as pneumonia, then the patient may require the utilization of oxygen, or may require the utilization of ventilators, or even may require the utilization of extracorporeal membrane oxygenator, which are the advanced forms of maintaining oxygenation in these patients. But having said that, majority of the patients will just develop features of fever, running nose and cough, and they may improve without landing into severe state. So only a minority of these patients will require mechanical ventilator and oxygen support, for which hospitalization is advised. As we all know, this coronavirus infection is pandemic. That means it has affected all parts of the world, and even in India, it has affected majority of the districts and states. So it is, and patients, especially who have underlying lung conditions like asthma or COPD or post tuberculosis, or patient having lung cancer, they are at a higher risk of developing infection with coronavirus, and they are at a higher risk of landing up in respiratory failure. So the first and the foremost thing what you can do to prevent yourself from getting into that state is a prevention of coronavirus infection. So how do we prevent it? The most and the important step is hand hygiene. So before you handle any articles or after you handle any articles, make sure that you wash your hand with sanitizer or with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. The other important thing is you should always maintain social distancing even at home. That there should be at least a distance of 6 feet from you, from an uninfected, from another person in your family. And avoid any physical contact like hugging, kissing, and handshakes. And apart from that, try to remain indoors as much as possible, and only one person from the family who is physically fit should wear a mask and go out and get all the essentials that is required for the family. Apart from that, make sure whenever you go out, at least you wear a cloth mask to protect yourself from getting infected. And most important thing what you have to for practice, especially for patients who have underlying respiratory problem, is cough hygiene. So whenever you cough, make sure that you cough over a tissue paper and discard the tissue paper properly without contaminating with other particles. And if you do not have a tissue paper, use a handkerchief, but make sure you disinfect this handkerchief separately. And if you don't have both, make sure that you cough over the crook of your elbow and not over your hands. And after your cough, make sure that you wash your hands properly again with soap and water or sanitizer for at least 20 seconds. So as we discussed before, these are respiratory pathogens. So they initially start off with more with the upper respiratory tract involvement, and later this virus migrates into the lower respiratory tract, which is the lungs. So once it enters into the lungs, it will cause infection of the lungs and it will cause subsequent inflammatory process. So this infection and the inflammatory process together results in pneumonia, and this is mainly seen in patients who are elderly and comorbid, or patients who are pregnant and children. So only these patients are more severely affected with pneumonia, and in most of the other cases, it will just come as a flu-like illness with upper respiratory tract symptoms and will settle down on its own. And once a patient develops any signs of pneumonia, like continuous fever, cough, or expectoration with green sputum, with a background of a travel history or a contact with a coronavirus suspect, then report to the hospital immediately, because this is any patient with pneumonia has to be tested for a coronavirus, irrespective of their travel history or patient who coming in contact with coronavirus infection. So as we already have discussed, like elderly more than 60 to 65 years, patient having diabetes or a hypertension or a heart problem, or patient who are taking medicines to suppress the immunity like steroids, or patient who are on renal transplant or liver transplant or dialysis, pregnant women and children. So these are the patients who are at a very high risk of developing pneumonia, and there should be any symptoms like fever, cough or breathing difficulty in such patients, you should report to the doctors immediately and get yourself evaluated for the presence of coronavirus infection. Today we have spoken about the very common questions which any person in the community will have. So I think this presentation has helped you to clear some doubts. So whenever you face with any fever, cough or running nose, make sure that you follow social distancing, protect yourself and your family members from getting infected. And when you have any travel history, especially to foreign countries in the previous 2 to 3 months, then report along with these symptoms, then report to the healthcare facility as soon as possible, and try to stay indoors and wear a mask and follow a proper cough hygiene. Thank you.